Hi friends, good day. In the last class, we have learned the entries in the books of vendor company, the transferor or the seller. Now today's class, we will be learning entries in the books of transferee company, that is amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. Okay, so let me give you today the entries here. Accounting treatment, I'm also writing, you can also copy down. Accounting entries in the books of transferee. Accounting entries in the books of transferee. Transferee also can be called as purchasing company. Okay, so here I'm dividing in two parts. Entries in case of merger, that is amalgamation in the nature of merger. Entries in case of merger. First entry, see, merger, you know that a company and B company, both of them have merged together, and we have already learned that the difference between amalgamation in the nature of merger and purchase comparison I've told you. So what happened when they merge? It's nothing but the entry will be some authors they write business merger account data to liquidator of vendor company, that is transferor company, that is for purchase consideration. Whatever the purchase consideration is there, for that they will be generally writing the entry. So entry for acquiring the business. Entry for acquiring the business. Business purchase account data are business purchase account data are to liquidator of vendor company. Business purchase account data are to liquidator of vendor company. Okay, next. Entry for now, after writing the entry, that is entry for acquiring business from the vendor company is nothing but purchase consideration due. Simple words, entry for acquiring the business is nothing but PC due, purchase consideration due. Simple words is purchase consideration due. Then you will be writing entry for recording of assets and liabilities reserves, whether statutory reserve or not, at their respective book values. Entry for recording. See, after acquiring the business, the transferee company, purchasing company, they will be getting the assets transferred, assets and liabilities transferred from transfer company. No, entry for recording of assets comma liabilities and reserves. Whether statutory reserve or not. It can be statutory reserve or no statutory reserve at their respective book values. At their respective book values. At their respective book values. The entry will be, they will be receiving assets. No, it is also called as incorporation. It is also called as incorporation of assets and incorporation of assets, comma liabilities, incorporation of assets, comma liabilities and reserves. The entry will be asset account at R, asset account at R, brackets, individually at book values. Individual at book values, to liabilities account, to liabilities account, individual at book values, to like if you got any provision for doubtful debts on assets, it is to be created, to provision for doubtful debts, to provision for depreciation, to revenue reserves, or we can say to reserves other than revenue reserves. To general reserve, to business purchase account. To business purchase account. So this is the entry: asset account at R, to liabilities, to provision for doubtful debts, to provision for uh, depreciation, to reserves other than revenue reserves, to general reserve, to business purchase. Okay. Now this is the entry for incorporation of, this is the entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities. We had discussion on this in case of a merger. I told you the payment is more than purchase consideration or less than purchase consideration will be adjusted to general reserve. These things we have already discussed. Okay. Next one, third one. This is second entry. Third entry is for entry for discharge of purchase consideration. Entry for discharge of purchase consideration. Entry for discharge of purchase consideration. Liquidator of vendor company account at R. Liquidator of vendor company account at R, to equity share capital, to equity share capital, to preference share capital. You need to make a payment to the liquidator of vendor in the form of equity shares, in the form of preference shares. See, why we need to use the term liquidator? Because there should be some person to get back the amount relating to purchase consideration. No, he will be issuing the shares. That means you are closing that the liquidator of entire company by discharge of purchase consideration is in the form of equity shares, is in the form of preference shares. I told you, even in some cases you will be making payment in cash also. Okay, whenever like the payment can be in the form of shares, payment can be issue of, I mean, discharge of purchase consideration, maybe in the form of equity shares. Discharge of purchase consideration is in the form of preference shares, and balance, if any, is in cash. And please remember, whenever you are writing liquidator of vendor company to equity share capital, it is with paid up value. Please try to understand this. You know the what is meaning of paid up value. It will be mentioned in the problem. Paid up value. Paid up value. And if there is any premium, like sometimes 10 rupees share has been discharged at 12 rupees, the 2 rupees will be premium. That premium, if you got any premium, you know that only nominal value, paid up value to the extent of nominal value will be recorded. Any excess payment is credited to security premium, to securities premium account, to securities premium account. Next, to bank account, this is cash payment. So three entries we have learned so far. I think it is clear to you. First entry is the business purchase account data to liquidator of vendor company. Entry for recording of assets and liabilities and reserves, whether statutory reserve or not. We had discussion about statutory reserve, which is to be maintained for a minimum period in the books of transferee company. In case generally the statutory reserve is applicable, is very relevant in case of the meaning I have explained to you about statutory reserve. But generally the statutory reserve point is important, particularly in the books of, in the case of purchase. See, purchasing company, it's their wish. The reserves of the transferor company, vendor company won't be taken to purchasing company's balance sheet. But in case of merger, we will be transferring the transferor company reserves also to be merged with the transferee company. But if the statutory reserve is to be maintained even in the new balance sheet, that they will be doing anyhow. That is what I said. Incorporation of assets and liabilities, here I mentioned whether statutory reserve or not at their respective book values. Reserves, it may be statutory reserve or not statutory reserve, but it is to be at their book value. But the question of statutory reserve significance arises when you are writing the entries in the books of a transferring company, when amalgamation is in the nature of purchase. That we'll discuss when we write the entries for that. So to business purchase, entry for discharge of purchase consideration, this entry has been completed. And here I'm just giving note. As I told you, the shares issued by way of purchase consideration must be recorded at their paid up value. So the paid up value may be equal to, is equal to nominal value. Paid up value, nominal value. But you know, discharge of purchase consideration may be at issue price. Issue price can be at par. Issue price can be at premium. Clear to all of you? You know the meaning of issue price. Issue price can be at par or at premium. So when at par, no issue. There's only when issue price is at premium. I told 10 rupees share is being offered at 12 rupees. The paid up value of share is 10 rupees. In this case, paid up is 12 rupees. This is at premium. 2 rupees will be credited to security premium. That is the meaning of it. That is the meaning of it. Okay. Now, make a note here. The shares issued by way of purchase consideration the shares issued by way of purchase consideration must be recorded at their paid up value. At their paid up value. That is not at their issue price. That is not at their issue price. The shares issued by way of purchase must be recorded at their paid up value. And credit should be given to security premium in case shares have been issued at premium. Okay, this is what I have explained already there. The next one, entry for recording fourth one, entry for recording the issue of debentures, entry for recording the issue of debentures to discharge the existing debentures. See, the transferor company debenture holders, when you're transferring to transferring company, entire, in case of merger, the entire liabilities will be taken by the purchasing company, so that you need to discharge the debentures. If there's entry for recording the issue of debentures to discharge, because what happened, the debenture holders of transferor company may become debenture holders of transferring company. That is what entry for recording the issue of debentures to discharge the existing debentures of vendor company. Debentures in vendor company account debtor. Debentures in vendor company account debtor. Sometimes debentures can be issued at discount. No, the issue price can be less than par value, issue price can be more than par value. This is with the amount of debentures actually. With amount of debentures. With the amount of debentures of whom? With the amount of debentures of whom? Vendor company. Okay. Then discount on issue of debentures. Discount on issue of debentures. If issued at discount. If issued at discount. If issued at discount. 2. 2. Debentures in purchasing company. To debentures in purchasing company, brackets with a nominal value. With a nominal value. To securities premium. If issued at premium. I repeat once again. Debentures in vendor company account at R, discount on issued debentures account at R if issued a discount. To debentures in purchasing company with nominal value to security premium if issued at premium. Now fifth one, fifth entry. See what happened. We have learned in the case of entries in the books of transferor, that is vendor company. We have learned that vendor is nothing but the transferor or seller, whatever you can call them as. Sometimes the purchasing company is going to reimburse the expenses. No, for that we will be writing entry. Entry for reimbursement of liquidation expenses of the vendor. Entry for reimbursement of liquidation expense of the vendor. The entry will be here. Profit and loss account at R to bank account. Profit and loss account at R to bank account. Next, sixth one. Entry for elimination of unrealized profit. Entry for elimination of unrealized profit. So this is clear. Now what happened? Sometime there may be elimination of unrealized profit, means like when vendor company, what happened then, unsold inventory of purchasing company is consisting of goods transferred from transferor company. What happened? The unsold stock has been artificially inflated. See, for a vendor company, previously vendor company was a supplier for purchasing company. Then vendor company will be supplying goods to them at a price price more than cost price. See, for purchasing company, it is cost price. But when both the companies closing stock has been merged, then what will happen? You know that there may be a chance of having some, there is a chance of having some stock has been overvalued. So then for that, what is that we need to do? We need to adjust. That is what. So entry for elimination of unrealized profit included in unsold stock. Included in unsold stock. The entry will be profit and loss account at R. Profit and loss account at R to inventories account. Direct entry I am writing, or we can write this can be written, or you can write alternatively, or we can write entry P&L account at R to stock reserve, then stock reserve is to be adjusted from inventories. So we can write directly P&L account at R to inventory, elimination of unrealized. Or if you write P&L account at R to stock reserve, then stock reserve will be deducted from inventory. Entry for elimination of unrealized profit included in closing stock. Okay, clear? This is what is about the entry for elimination of unrealized profit. Next one, seventh point. Seventh point. Entry for elimination of intercompany owings. We have learned that in partnership, entry for elimination of inter-firm owings. Here we are using entry for elimination of. You know that the trade payable, trade receivable of transferor company and transferee company merges. I owe you, you owe me. Simple words, my bills receivable is having the amount which is due from you, or my bills payable is having amount due to you. So this is what is called as entry for elimination of inter company owings. Entry for elimination of or is also called as mutual owings. Entry for elimination of intercompany owings. Trade payable account at R. The entry is simple, my dear friends. Be it of vendor company or be it a purchasing company, the entry will be same. So some books they give you detailed information that is not required. Simply you can write trade payable. I mean, you will be confused. Simple words like you have done sundry creditors account data to sundry debtors account, elimination of interfirm owings you have learned in CF Foundation or in graduation. So trade payable account at R, trade payable account at R2, trade receivable account. Entry for elimination of intercompany owings. Trade payable account at R to trade receivable account. Okay. So this is about your the entries of in the books of transferor purchasing company for when account the when amalgamation is in the nature of merger. This I have already mentioned here. Entries in case of merger, that is amalgamation in the nature of merger. Amalgamation is in the nature of merger. Now let us see, amalgamation is in the nature of purchase. Accounting treatment accounting treatment in the books of transferee company or purchasing company. This is B. Accounting treatment in the books of transferee company or purchasing company when amalgamation is in the nature of purchase. Amalgamation is in the nature of purchase. So first entry, add as usual, we'll be writing entry for, we can write purchase consideration due, or the narration which are given the same narration, but you can also write entry for purchase consideration due. Entry for purchase consideration due. Business purchase account debtor. Business purchase account debtor to liquidator of vendor company. You also can have common similarities. The same entry are written there, even in the case of merger also. The common entry is the only thing is that generally you will have the difference in the treatment of goodwill, and also the statutory reserve will not be, statutory reserve of transferor company will not be taken. I mean the reserves of, I mean to say reserves of transferor company will not be taken. Only exception is statutory reserve you will take. You'll be taking statutory reserve because that reserve is to be maintained. Even the company is being liquidated, if the company is in the hands of, they has been transferred to the transferred and it is in the hands of purchasing company, there you need to maintain statutory reserve. You know what is statutory reserve? As per law, required by law, you need to maintain reserve for so and so number of, minimum number of years. It is what is being called as statutory reserve. Okay, then second entry. Entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities. This is important. I am using the term entry for incorporation, or you can say entry for recording of assets and liabilities. Assets and liabilities taken over. Here I am writing taken over. Why taken over? Because in purchase I am choosy. I want whatever I want, I take it. Entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities taken over at their respective agreed values. Entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities taken over at their respective agreed values. Here you can see the difference. There I told you book values. So you can see individual at book values. Here at their respectively agreed values. Agreed values can be equal to book value, more than book value, or you can say less than book value. Entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities taken over at their respective agreed values. It can be more than book value, less than or equal to book value. So assets account debtor, that is assets taken actually. Assets account debtor individually with their respective or individually agreed value of assets taken over. Individual agreed value of assets taken over. And you know that the excess of purchase consideration over net worth is to be debited to goodwill. We have learned that in one of our discussion. And in case of merger, it is to be, I told you, it is to be adjusted to reserve. See, there we have created reserve. You know that general reserve, I have used the term general reserve or reserve here. The second entry, here I have told you general reserve. It can be more than purchase consideration, is more than net worth, general reserve credit from existing general should be deducted. Or if it is purchase consideration is less than net worth, it can be created to general reserve. This we discuss when we will be having the problem. I think I've already given a note to you, the difference between merger and purchase, what is to be done. If I'm not wrong, earlier I've already explained you. Anyhow, when we work out the problem, we'll do it again. Okay. So we discuss again rather. Goodwill account debtor. Here, excess of purchase consideration over net worth, or it is also called as net assets. Goodwill account debtor. 2. Liabilities account. Individually at their or individually at their agreed value of the liability. It is not must that they should take all liabilities according to their understanding, according to the decision of the purchasing company, shareholders, etc. They will be taking individual at their agreed value of the liabilities taken over. Without these entries, we can't move, my dear friend. That is why we are giving. We need to learn in detailed manner. Once if you do the problem, it will be easy. Then 2, business purchase account. To business purchase account with PC due. Business purchase, you debit with PC due. It be whatever the business purchase. This we have already debited. Now you are creating because it will be closed. Then I told you if there is net worth is more than purchase consideration. Net worth is more than purchase consideration means purchase consideration is 10 rupees. Net worth is 12 rupees. You are getting gain. No, the 2 rupees is a reserve. Is transferred to capital reserve. Capital reserve, that is excess of net assets over purchase consideration. Excess of net assets over purchase consideration. Excess of net assets over purchase consideration. Clear? This is the entry for recording of assets and liabilities, or we can say entry for incorporation of assets and liabilities. The next one, entry for recording statutory reserve. I told you transferor company reserves will not be merged with the transferee company. No, only in case of merger you combine. But in case of purchasing company, transferor company reserves will not be taken except statutory reserve, which is being maintained by the transferor company, need to be maintained by transferee company when they are buying it. So that is the entry I am giving you. Entry for recording statutory reserve of transferor company. Entry for recording of or recording the statutory reserve of transferor company. I am using the term amalgamation adjustment account debtor. amalgamation adjustment account debtor to statutory reserve. You may be having 2 or 3 statutory reserve that you will be writing when we discuss what is statutory reserve and examples later on. Individually at their book values. Once upon a time, they used to show this amalgamation adjustment reserve under the heading other non-current assets. They used to show in the balance sheet. Like this used to be called as fictitious assets or miscellaneous expenditure. Now concept has been changed. Statutory reserve will be taken to reserves and surplus. And the thing is that what they are doing is that, like if suppose balance sheet, this is 10 rupees, this is 10 rupees. Previously, statutory reserve they used to show 10 rupees on the liability side, and amalgamation adjustment reserve they used to show 10 rupees on the asset side of balance sheet of transferee company. Now what they are doing, it is there in the study material also. I say study material, you can see that I don't want to waste your time by telling this is a simple thing. When we come across the problem, we discuss. Now what they are doing, this earlier used to appear under reserves and surplus. Here other non-current asset. There in this heading we used to show other non-current asset. Now it has changed. In reserves and surplus, suppose there is reserves given, say 50, statute is at 10, and then it is 60. What they are doing, they are adjusting amalgamated adjustment reserve. 60 minus 10, 50. It means now the difference is that earlier the reserve, other reserves 50, I told you. 50 plus 10, 60 used to show. 10 here. Now what you are doing, 50 to this 50, 10 you are adding. Instead of showing in the asset side, you are writing on the liability side, means the net effect will be same. It means statutory reserve is added and the amalgamated adjustment reserve, which is having debit balance, you are adjusting from reserves and surplus only by subtracting it. It means the net effect you are showing, that means you are not closing amalgamation adjustment account. Amalgamation adjustment account will be there, the entry account will have debit balance, but in the balance sheet you are deducting from the reserves and surplus. Are you following what I'm saying? It means by just deducting it, you are not closing the account. When this account will be closed, with the purpose of statutory reserve is completed, just you will be reversing it. The entry will be statutory reserve account debtor to amalgamation adjustment account. That you should remember. So for the time being, what is to be done, sir? The statutory reserve is to be taken to reserves and surplus of transferee company, and after having the totals from that, you should deduct amalgamation adjustment account. Amalgamation adjustment account should be deducted. Otherwise, this they used to show on the asset side, this used to show on the liability side. Instead of showing on the asset side, from reserves and surplus you are deducting. By deducting, it doesn't mean that you are closing that account. Clear? Right? The way we deduct PBD, we don't close it. The same thing. So if you got any doubts, you can refer to the study material, the explanation that has been given. When we come across the problem, we'll work out on that. Right? Next one. Fourth one. Discharge of purchase consideration. Entry for discharge of purchase consideration. Whatever the entries we have learned, the same entries we'll be writing. Previously, same thing. Liquidator of vendor company account debtor. We have created no liquidator of vendor company here. Liquidator of vendor company is to be closed by debiting. Liquidator of vendor company account debtor to equity share capital. This explanation I have already given. Paid up value. to preference share capital account, paid up value, to securities premium account, if premium is paid, if issued at premium, if there is premium. Issue price can be more than par, premium will arise. To bank account. To bank account. Already the note which I have given is applicable for this one also. Fifth entry. For purchase also. I told you issue price can be at par, issue price can be at premium. But here it should be recorded at paid up value and it is at premium. Entry for this is same the way we have written, but for your notes sake I am writing here. Entry for recording issue of, so the bank, if cash is paid, purchase consideration including discharge of purchase consideration is including cash. Now entry for recording issue of debentures. Entry for recording issue of debentures. To discharge debentures of the transferee company. Sorry, transferor company. Same like merger. I think I need not write. What is that entry? Same like merger. We have learned already. Debentures account debtor. You learned it now already. What is that entry you learn, my dear friend? Debentures in vendor company, discount on issued debentures in purchasing company, to debentures in purchasing company to security premium. Same like entry, same like merger. You can copy down that. I think you can copy down that. Next, entry for reimbursement. This entry just slightly change. Sixth entry, entry for reimbursement of liquidation expenses. Entry for reimbursement of liquidation expenses of vendor company. Entry for reimbursement of liquidation expense of vendor company. Goodwill account debtor, or you also can debit capital reserve. There we have written P&L account debtor. If you recollect, entry for reimbursement of liquidation expense of vendor company, there we have written P&L account to bank. In case of merger, here in case of purchase, you can either debit goodwill account or capital reserve account. After copying down in the notes, you can have comparison. Capital reserve account debtor to bank account. Reimbursement means you are making a payment. The expenses incurred by transferor, payment is being made by them. Seventh entry. Discharge of purchase consideration. Discharge of purchase consideration to vendor. We have written already, no, not discharge of, sorry. This is already completed. Sorry, this by mistake I have written. Next one, entry for elimination of unrealized profit. included in the closing stock. That is generally the purchasing company closing stock is having stock transferred from transfer company. No, we have learned department accounts, branch accounts in group 1. You have learned that entry for elimination of unrealized profit, including the closing stock. So the only there we have written entry P&L account at R2, stock we have written. Here in place of P&L account, you should debit capital reserve account or goodwill account. What is the entry there? You have written P&L account at R inventory. Here you will be writing, in place of P&L account, you will be writing capital reserve, or goodwill account at R. Only the difference is in place of P&L account, you will be using this. 2. Inventory account. To inventories account. To inventories account. This is 7th one. And last one, 8th one. Entry for elimination of mutual owings. Trade payable account at R2. Trade payable account at R2. Trade receivable account. Entry for elimination of mutual owings. Trade payable account at R2. Trade receivable account. So these are the entries which we have already done about elimination. So you copy down. From next class onwards, we start working out the problems. With this, the entire theory concept has been completed. And is there any fine tuning point? Definitely we will address that when we start working out the problems. So tomorrow onwards, what are the problems which are there in your material, we work out. Okay, please kindly, you got a gap. So please go through it. Have all the things which we have discussed so far, have at one place, and then definitely we will work out. Thank you very much. God bless you all.